Forget everything you thought you knew about the next iPhone, because the leak floodgates have just burst open, and what's coming out of Cupertino for late 2026 isn't just a smartphone. It's a declaration of war on the rest of the mobile industry. Welcome back to my channel Tech Rivet. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and click on bell icon for more tech updates. If you're sitting there with an older iPhone or even a brand new 17 Pro Max, you need to stop and listen closely, because the iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be the most radical departure from Apple's design philosophy since the iPhone 10. We aren't just talking about a faster chip or a slightly better camera. We are talking about a total internal reconstruction, the birth of the 2nm era, and a camera system that finally bridges the gap between a phone and a professional DSLR. The industry is buzzing with rumors that Apple is about to split its release cycle entirely, pushing the base models into 2027 just to give the 18 Pro Max the stage it deserves. This is the Ultra year. This is the year Apple decides to pull so far ahead of the competition that it might take years for anyone else to catch up. Let's start with the heart of the beast, because this is where the real magic and the real controversy begins. For years, we've been living in the 3nm world, but the iPhone 18 Pro Max is set to debut the A20 Pro chip, the world's first mass-produced 2nm processor. Why does that matter to you? Because it's not just about opening apps faster. This is about a 30% jump in power efficiency and a massive leap in Apple Intelligence capabilities. Imagine a phone that doesn't just suggest words, but actually anticipates your needs in real time without heating up your pocket. We are hearing reports that the A20 Pro is so powerful that Apple had to redesign the entire cooling system, potentially using a vapor chamber with a window on the back glass just to manage the thermal output. This chip is basically a Mac Studio in your palm. And to feed that monster, Apple is finally listening to the one thing we've all been begging for: battery life. Leaks suggest a massive 5,100 mAh cell, the largest ever put in an iPhone. But there's a catch. It's going to make the phone thicker and heavier, pushing it past the 240-gram mark. It's a tank, but it's a tank that will likely last you 2 full days on a single charge, even with that massive 6.9-inch display pumping out 3,000 nits of brightness. But wait, because the display is where the rumors get messy. For months, we were told the iPhone 18 Pro Max would finally hide Face ID under the glass, giving us a tiny punch hole or even a 35% smaller dynamic island. Now, the latest whispers from the supply chain suggest Apple might be playing it safe, keeping the dynamic island we know to ensure 100% security for Face ID. But don't let that disappoint you, because what they're doing with the glass itself is revolutionary. We're looking at a new LTPO Plus panel that can scale refresh rates even more efficiently, meaning your always-on display will barely sip power. And for the first time, Apple is rumored to be moving the front-facing camera to the upper left corner on some prototypes, breaking a decade-long tradition of centered sensors. Is Apple finally moving toward an all-screen future, or are they waiting for the iPhone 19? Either way, the 18 Pro Max is the bridge to that future, and it looks stunning in the rumored dark crimson and titanium teal finishes that are set to replace the current color lineup. Now, let's talk about the real reason people buy the Pro Max: the cameras. This is where the iPhone 18 Pro Max stops being a phone and starts being a professional cinema tool. For the first time in iPhone history, we are getting a variable aperture on the main 48-megapixel lens. If you're not a camera nerd, let me explain why this is a game changer. Until now, your iPhone lens was fixed. It couldn't physically open or close to let in more or less light. With variable aperture, the 18 Pro Max can mimic the human eye. In the blazing sun, it closes up to keep details sharp. In a dark restaurant, it opens wide to swallow every bit of light, giving you natural bokeh and low-light performance that software simply cannot fake. Combine that with a new 3-layer stack sensor from Samsung and a 48-megapixel telephoto lens that finally gets a wider aperture, and you have a device that can shoot National Geographic quality photos from your couch. Apple isn't just adding megapixels. They're changing the physics of how light enters your phone. And we can't ignore the connectivity. The rumors about Apple's in-house C2 5G modem are reaching a fever pitch. By ditching Qualcomm, Apple can integrate the modem directly into the A20 Pro chip, saving space and battery. But the real wow factor? Support for NRNTN, which is a fancy way of saying full-blown satellite internet. We aren't just talking about emergency SOS anymore. The iPhone 18 Pro Max might be the first phone that lets you send a WhatsApp or check an email from the middle of the Sahara Desert or the top of Everest without a cell tower in sight. It's the ultimate survival and travel tool. Of course, all this tech comes at a price. While some leakers say Apple will try to hold the line at $1,199, others warn that the cost of 2nm chips is so high that we might see the first $1,399 starting price for a Pro Max. Is it worth it? When you consider that this phone is basically a professional camera, a high-end gaming console, and a satellite communicator all in one, the price starts to make sense. As we move closer to that September 2026 launch window, the hype is only going to grow. We're hearing about a refined action button with haptic feedback, a more durable titanium 3.0 frame that resists scratches better than ever, and a version of iOS 20 that is so deeply integrated with AI that it feels like the phone is alive. The iPhone 18 Pro Max isn't just an upgrade, it's a reset. It's the phone that proves Apple isn't just iterating. They're innovating at a level that feels almost alien. If you're planning on upgrading anytime soon, you might want to hold your breath and save your cash because the leaks are clear. 2026 is the year the iPhone changes forever. Stay tuned because every day a new piece of this puzzle falls into place, and you do not want to be the one who bought the old model right before the future arrived. This is the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the world isn't ready.